All right, so I know I said I wasn't going to trade today, so I wasn't going to do a live. Maybe I should have, but I really just wasn't going to trade. Normally, I'll just do pretty poorly on Fridays, so I kind of still like the chart, and I'm trying some other things now to kind of really hone in what I want to do. So let's just get started on my review for today's video, today's trade, and we'll go from there. So the beginning of the morning, I was watching the S&P futures, and I was really not doing anything on the charts much around open. So I didn't get any indication that I was going to take any positions here. If I were on a normal day and this was my normal strategy, seeing this pullback here, having this momentum, and the idea of that push down the other 2 nights ago, where we had that overnight big gap down, and I said that, hey, it's going to want to fill the gap, right? So if I were to have taken this, I would have taken the break above the overnight high and tried to take it to that previous day close from 2 days ago, which is that gap fill, and it did that. So as I'm watching this and I'm not chasing the trade, using some good discipline here, not trying to catch the falling knife or in the opposite direction. All right, I don't want to chase this up and all of a sudden it turns over and comes back down on me, right? It's in the middle of the range by the time I really decide that it's probably going to go there, so you don't want to catch it. So I saw this happening here. I saw that it closed the gap, so I figured, hey, while I have it open, I looked over at the NASDAQ and I said, hey, thought to myself, oh, first we'll go back to that. Yes, that happened 8:30 this morning, pretty much right on open. It broke out and broke up. A lot of the stocks that I have right now, they're in the green territory. Things are starting to push up today. These aren't ones that I have. I don't know why it changed, but so things are starting to push up, right? So if we go, this was a 30-minute chart. If you go down to the 5-minute, which is my entry time frames, you can see that break, retest of that, and you could take that up if I were to have been trading that, but I did not. But like I said, I saw this come up to here. It got here by 9:25, 9:20. It hit that target. So I come over to my NASDAQ, and around 8:30, you're getting some decent push, but like I showed in the chart, it was pretty choppy, right? This is just a bunch of back and forth overnight, not any clear direction, but we did have a nice little range here, overnight high, overnight low, and it was starting to do, like I said yesterday, it was winding up. The highs were starting to get lower and the lows were starting to get lower. So my idea on this was that if it did break above this high here, I was going to take that long. So because it was lagging so much, right? 8:30, you started to get a push up. 9 by 9:20, the S&P already closed its gap. Right here, this purple line is that gap that we expect to fill now, right? Will it? Maybe not. But if I go down into the 5-minute, you can see what happened here. So I entered at 30. I had a inclination here on, for some reason, it doesn't want to zoom out. Okay. So I had an idea on this trade around that time that the S&P was hitting off on those highs, right? So 41.33, I expected, hey, we're going to start to make that push up. So I did end up taking it from there. However, as soon as you take that trade, it pulls back down to the VWAP. And that VWAP acts as some super support. So on my top step, I was a little bit more patient. And I got my entry down here at 14.710, around there, right? I expected if it rejected off the VWAP, like it did, I wanted to enter once it broke back above some of this structure here, and then I'll take it up. I could have entered right on the VWAP and placed my stop right below here, but there's a chance it just manipulates some wicks, so, or it could even push down into here. So I wanted to make sure that it didn't do that. So it rejected, and I just took it up. We did end up breaking the high here. So once we started to actually push up with these solid candles, that's when I started to trail my stop up. I went to break even with this, and then I told myself once it breaks the previous day high, which was acting as resistance, that's when I'm going to start really working on trying to make this trade and secure profits. So I got this huge candle here, and once this candle came out, I put my stops down to this previous day high, just in case it decided it wanted to come back down, retest, and bounce back up. Right? I said my target was 14,798. It's a Friday. I've already had a good week. You know, why go crazy and risk everything that I've gained already today, right? So once I hit my daily profit percentage target, which is 500, I moved my stop to 500. And then as I saw this price running up to this upside, I just trailed, and then I ended up getting popped out and ended up having a pretty good day, right? 740 on this account. And then if I pull up the other account, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up. There we go. Like you could say, see the ES, I had the targets here, popped through it, the same thing. You can see where I entered on the NASDAQ here. I entered right there at 14,710, maybe 14,711, and I trailed it all the way up to right there at 14,775 or 76. I think that's where I got filled. And the profits for the day, 25, 52, 60. That's just the difference of entry and that the fact that I had two contracts on this account and not just one contract as I had on my other account. So just percentages. And I do still expect this to end up hitting off on that gap fill at around that 14,800 level. 14,798.50 is the gap close, but it might like that 14,800 number, nice and round. So I expect maybe a little consolidation here, maybe a little bit more of a pullback into that 14,770, and then you could probably see it go up to there. So for a day that I wasn't going to trade, I did pretty good. Probably just because I had a lot of discipline in waiting for this setup to really show itself. And when you use the two indexes with each other, you start to realize that a lot of times they're following each other. And then when you realize that the rest of the market, you got the Dow Jones that's up and everything, and one of them is lagging behind, you're going to see that last one that's lagging behind want to try and catch up to the other two. It's just kind of how it works. It's a simple, divergence kind of strategy without really going deep into what the strategy kind of is. But you can see it on the surface here. So if you have any questions about what I did today and why I took that trade and why I said, hey, I'm not going to trade today, but if some A+ setup decides to present itself, I'm going to take it. Well, there it was, right? So I always give myself at least an opportunity. Maybe I didn't get to the charts as early as I would have liked to, or I didn't, stream like I said, but at least I'm giving you the review now. You can see that it did happen. I have the numbers to prove it. So like I said, any questions about futures, anything else, just let me know and we'll talk later.